This is a great honor for every fan of the Dallas Cowboys. I'm honored to be in the NFL.
What can I say? Mamba out.
What is going on, everyone? It is the Monday edition of the afternoon show here live on the Elite Sports and Entertainment Network. We're going to be your producer and also a co-analyst today, Logan Landers. And joining us, of course, as always, we have Jay McLovin. We have a surprise guest here, Mr. Foxborough Frankie C. You see there with the nice little clinched logo in the bottom. We'll get to him in just a minute. We have Chris Gonzalez joining the program. And, of course, we have Tony Gonzalez as well, keeping things intact and keeping the show running just well. Guys, hope you all had a great weekend. Tony, what do we have first on the docket for our Monday show?
Well, man, let's talk about some college playoff football, and then we'll go into some NFL. Real quick, I'll give the scores for the college. Of course, we had Oregon all over Tulane, 51-34. The game got a little closer towards the end, and probably, it should have been. Ole Miss, 41-10 over Tulane. Alabama over Oklahoma, 34-24, and Miami defeated Texas A&M 10-3. We're going to talk a lot about the college, just a couple of the games. I'm not going to talk about the blowouts too much. But let's jump into Alabama, Oklahoma first. Alabama, 260 total yards, 232 passing, only 28 yards rushing. I'm going to ask we'll go to Frankie first about that and see about what he's thinking about the rushing for them. Oklahoma had 262 total yards, 307 passing, only 54 yards rushing there, and a turnover. Oklahoma did time of possession have 33 minutes. Let's go to Frankie first. I know he's a big Alabama fan. What he thought about the game, and is he worried at all about the only 28 yards rushing?
Yeah, I am worried about 28 yards rushing. It's a little scary when you only have 28 yards rushing, especially when you're in the college football playoffs. It shows that you have no run game. It feels like, at some point, the passing game isn't going to work for you. Someone is going to, see that and attack it. And then what are you going to have left since you have no ground game? I think they need to, figure something out. It's a good thing that you don't play again until the new year. So you have time to figure it out. Hopefully, the starting running back comes back. I think he was out this game because he got hurt in the last week at the SEC championship. But it kind of sucks when you don't have a run game, and it's kind of scary. I'm surprised that Alabama won. Honestly, as an Alabama fan, I was actually shocked because we were down 17-0 going into the second quarter. It was actually scary in the first quarter. I'm like, oh my God, here we go again. A replay of what just happened with Georgia. And then nothing was going for us at all. Like we literally had, I think Logan posted it up in the first half. We only had about 12 yards total in the passing game, or I think it was 12 plays. And Oklahoma had 17 points. So, I mean, it was a scary moment. But I like the way that they held their composure. They put their chins up and they came out and they fought on all sides of the ball, offense, defense, and special teams. It was a good win on Alabama. Oklahoma, if you look on paper, Oklahoma actually owned this game, which is shocking to me on why Alabama won it. I think what it was that pick six close to the end of the second quarter. That's what changed the whole game. And then, like I said, I'm just glad that they kept their composures and went out there and fought, even with the amount of rushing yards they had, under 30 yards. Everyone stepped up defensively, offensively, special teams. I'm really proud of them. And now we're on to Indiana, baby. We're on to Indiana. First time ever, Tony and Chris, first time ever we meeting each other, not just in the regular season or anything like that. It's the first time ever in history that we're going to meet each other. Be ready for the Roll Tide.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a fun game. I agree with you, Frankie. I think that turnover was huge in that game. I really do. I think it changed everything. The first quarter and a half, Oklahoma was knocking Alabama off the ball, but then it kind of changed. Alabama started knocking them off the ball, so that was the difference in the game. Chris, your thoughts on the Alabama-Oklahoma game?
Yeah, it was a good football game to me. What the difference in the game was, I agree with Frankie on the interception, but the big difference to me was the first quarter and a half of that game, Oklahoma was controlling the line of scrimmages, defense and offensive side. They were blowing Alabama off the ball. That's why, like Frankie said, Alabama only had I ran 12 plays. But something changed in the second half of that second quarter. From the second half of the second quarter on, Alabama was controlling the line of scrimmages, and that's why you saw Alabama have a lot more yards and a lot more points in the second half than what Oklahoma did. So, to me, that was the big difference in the game was the line of scrimmage, and something flipped, and Alabama controlled it the second from, like I said, about halfway through the second quarter on. Alabama seemed like the more physical team, where at the beginning of the game, Oklahoma was the more physical team, and I think that's why Alabama was able to pull it off.
Jay, your thoughts on the game?
Yeah, I think Tony and Frankie and you guys kind of hit the nail for the most part on the head. What's interesting to me is, Bama comes out, Oklahoma comes out, smacks Bama in the mouth, goes up 17-0. Bama rallies back to even it up 17 going into the third. My thing is, what I'm curious about is most of that 28 yards or most of the deficit comes from Ty Simpson, not really so much Daniel Hill. Daniel Hill actually was doing quite well at 9 carries, 43 yards, and 4.8 per carry and a touchdown. So I don't understand why they didn't go more to Daniel Hill and give him more opportunities. I don't know I think Alabama could have done a better job had they gone to him more often. But at the end of the day, good teams find ways to win, whether it's through your passing, your defense. Again, the trenches is always where it starts. Like Chris pointed out, you got to win the battle in the trenches if you want to win the game. And I think Bama came back and got that. I think Bama came out a little flat that first half. Now, you can get away with that. And it's interesting, too, because these two teams play each other pretty well. This is the second time they met. The first time, Oklahoma got them by 2 points. The second time, Bama got them by 10 or 12, something like that. At the end of the day, they're going to go up against Indiana, and Indiana is another really good qualified opponent, obviously, as we know. And I don't think they're going to be able to get slapped in the face like they did against Oklahoma and come back and win it. So if I'm Bama, you got to come out and make a statement against Indiana and let them know who you are. Or Indiana, I don't think it's going to be as forgiving as Oklahoma. I think Indiana takes it. So, again, I think they had one flat tire. I think that flat tire was the lack of a run game and obviously getting punched in the face. But at the end of the day, they got it done. And it's going to come down to, can they get it done against Indiana? And I don't think that formula that they did against Oklahoma is going to work quite as well against Indiana. And, Chris, I'm giving y'all some love, man, at Indiana.
And, Logan, your thoughts on the game?
Yeah, I mean, we saw this, and Oklahoma got off to a fantastic start. You can't start a whole lot better than they did off 17 rip. And it looked like it was going to be not a pretty game if you were a fan of the Crimson Tide. But credit to Caleb DeBoer, credit to Ty Simpson, and, of course, the rest of the team, obviously, just highlighting those two. They did a bang-up job, and their backs were against the wall going into halftime. Didn't look pretty, but they found a way. Whatever the strategy was, whatever they talked about, whatever holes they found in the defense for Oklahoma, which we've talked about years before. Oklahoma had an awful defense, but they finally got together this year. They had a rough one this game, but they found some holes, and that's what Alabama does. That's what they do at the program, and they're moving on. And, a lot of people were saying, oh, they're a 3-loss team. Why are they in here? But then we do say, okay, you got a tough match. You got number 8 versus number 9. This is a good task to see if you're up to it or not. And credit to Alabama. They showed up. They were the better team that day. And unfortunately for, Coach Venables and for the rest of the crew, John Mateer, over at Oklahoma, a sad end to a really good season overall, honestly. And that now extends their losing streak in the college football playoff. I think they're 0-4. All time. So they have that monkey on their back and they just can't get it off. It's a good season for the Sooners, but Alabama just better on that day. And Tony, Chris, I know Glenn, y'all are going to have some heated words leading up to that day on New Year's Day. I know that much.
Yep, most definitely. Guys, next game, let's go to the Miami Texas A&M game. This was kind of a interesting game. Miami had 278 yards total offense, 103 pass, 175 rush, 1 turnover, give up 2 sacks. Only had the ball 26 minutes. You look at Texas A&M; they kind of outplayed them in a lot of ways. 326 total yards, 237 pass, 89 rush. But the key to the game coming down to these 2 things: 3 turnovers and sacked 7 times. And that was the difference of the game. I think the sacks and the turnovers is why Texas A&M is not moving on. Jay, your thoughts on this game?
No, I think you hit the nail on the head. And I think Chris pointed out in a previous show where he was talking about the physicality of Miami versus A&M, and it showed. Miami came out physical, and A&M didn't respond. And at the end of the day, like you said, you can't have that many turnovers and that many sacks. I think you're going to come away with the win against a competent Miami team. I mean, Miami is a competent team, and people don't realize that. And they're in the playoffs for a reason. And it's interesting to know that as well as Texas was ranked, they didn't matriculate. And I think that's been the ongoing theme throughout this playoffs and really throughout this college season, is people being ranked maybe where they shouldn't have been ranked. And down goes A&M, and they got to deal with it. They haven't seen the damn championship game since 1939. I think it was the last time we talked about this. And it's going to be a whole nother year after that. So they got some stuff to figure out over there in Kyle Field.
Yes, most definitely. Logan, your thoughts on the game?
This was a battle of really, I don't know who didn't want to win. I mean, it's going to be 10-3. I love a close matchup, but my God, we couldn't have got some more points on the board here, fellas. I will say this, though. Boy, Marcel Reed, draft stock just tanked in this one, I feel.
I feel that too.
I mean, like I said, he's a promising arm. Had just an awful day, though. I mean, 2 picks, obviously no touchdowns you saw. They couldn't get anything on offense. Their offense was just ice cold, and Miami was in a whole lot better. I'm not saying that much, but at least they were able to come up clutch when it was needed. Mark Fletcher, God, he better not pay for another meal for the rest of his time at the U, because he kept him in there, ran for $172, and was there. Well, kind of the only bright spot in a very tough offensive day for both the Aggies and the Hurricanes. Of course, we know the Hurricanes got 7 sacks compared to just 2 for A&M, so their defensive pressure was there all night, and it was a struggle. And it wasn't great. Let's be real. Look, Miami should have won this one. They should have been a lot better, but their kicking was atrocious. 1 of 4 from field goals did Carter Davis. That's 25%. I'm just saying, look, if Miami keeps going on, there's a tight situation. I'm a little bit reluctant to kick for a tie or for anything like that after the performance he had in a playoff game. I get it with opening round, might have just been a bad day, but all bets are off when you go into the playoffs, and an awful game to watch. It was a struggle. But in the end, Carson Beck had his best drive of the day at the end and helped lead Miami to the win. And in just a kind of a rough one, Miami pulls away, gets the win, and they're moving on. And in an upset in terms of seeding, number 10 beat number 7. So Miami moves on. And for the Aggies, good season, but got to pack your bag. Got to get out of here. See you in Cancun.
Hey, real quick, if I can just say one thing, I just want to say one thing what Logan was saying. You're right. If you're Marcel Reed, your draft stock went into poo-poo and the crazy thing about it is this is another game, just like Bama, and I fell asleep a couple of times this game because it was just so bad and boring, honestly. But, 3 of those turnovers came from Reed, right? 2 interceptions and 1 fumble. So he was 3 of those turnovers. And then also he was your leading rusher. I think A&M was like 2.5 yards a carry, which is about the same as where Bama was overall. Mm-hmm. And you can't win games like that. You're right. I think Marcel Reed is going to be hurting bad.
It was a tough one. And real quick, I mean, they could have tied this game. They were at the goal line. They could have tied it up. But Jay, as you mentioned, a just bad pass from Reed. If he would have let it, if it would have been in front of the receiver, that would have been a touchdown because he had space. He threw it behind. Credit to Miami for their good coverage. Pulled it off and got the dramatic win. Tony, I'll give it back to you.
Okay, Chris, your thoughts on this game?
Oh,
My thoughts are totally different than everybody else's. I thought this was a great football game to watch, even though there was only that many points scored. There was a lot of action in this game. It wasn't a boring game to watch. The big factors to me was Miami was the more physical team, which I figured going in. That's why I picked Miami, and Miami was able to run the ball. Texas A&M wasn't able to run the ball. You got yourself in a situation where the wind is why the field goal kicker missed all those kicks, and why both quarterbacks struggled throwing the ball so bad. They were getting 40 to 50 mile per hour wind gusts that whole game. You could see the ball when they get kicked just shoot every which way, and Texas A&M had no run game to help them. Miami did. I think that was the biggest difference. But yeah, this game went a lot like I thought it would. I thought Miami would be too physical, and we've seen Texas A&M have to play a physical team like when they played Texas a couple weeks ago. They struggled. Texas A&M, to me, was a product of not playing the toughest SEC schedule this year, so that they were able to get some wins, but we never really saw them to get tested. And then the last 2 games of the year, they play against physical teams, and they were just too physical for them. And then for Texas A&M, the weather was the worst thing that it could have happened for them being wins like that, because they're a passing team. They rely on passing the ball. And when the wind's blowing like that, it makes it a lot harder to pass the ball. I mean, Beck only threw for like 100 and something yards. Marcel Reed threw for more yards than Beck. But the turnovers killed Miami, Texas A&M. I think they had 3 and Miami only had the 1. But yeah, it was. I enjoyed watching the game. I know it wasn't a lot of points scored, but for a low scoring game, there was a lot going on.
Yeah, I agree with what you're saying. Frankie, your thoughts on the game? Well, maybe not.
Take that crazy boy off.
Okay, well.
Hey, Chris, I will not excuse you for a misspeak, because when I misspeak, I get crucified. So you will not be forgiven, sir. Get your one.
Sorry, I'm back.
Okay, there we go. Let's get your thoughts, buddy.
Frank, your thoughts on the Miami Texas A&M game?
I thought it was kind of like, I know some people think it was boring. I at first thought it was boring, but as I got into it, I actually seen and realized what was the problem, because in the first half we had like literally about 5 missed field goals. Everybody's forgetting that, like, for some reason everywhere around the world this weekend was like a really windy. Well, everywhere around the United States, it was windy everywhere. Like the wind gust was about, I think, close to 30 miles per hour over there in I think it was Texas. So I mean, I get why they missed so many field goals. And like I said, at first I thought it was boring, but when it got to the second half, that's when it started to get interesting, because they made the field goals to tie it up. Then they're both getting touchdowns. It was a really good second half, and they were getting deep thrown balls. And like Chris said, Miami ran the ball really well against Texas A&M. Both defenses were playing well this whole entire game. It was more of a defensive game than anything.
Right. Yeah.
Which is why it was a low scoring game, 10-3 if I'm not mistaken. So I kind of like when it's a low scoring game, because it shows that this is nothing but defense. But we're also forgetting the fact that the reason it's a low scoring game is because of the wind. It's really hard to throw the ball that deep, throwing into the wind at that. So I give Carson Beck and the other quarterback, props for throwing deep balls against the wind. So I mean, you got to understand the narrative of the game. Like, it would have been a higher scoring game, obviously, if it wasn't like wind effective. But because of that reason, it was a low scoring game, and you got to tip your hats off to both these teams. I was really shocked that Miami won, but then again, I was also happy because Texas A&M is an SEC team, and the hell with them. Let's go.
Guys, before we move on to the NFL, you guys got any thoughts on any of the other college games before we move on?
What college games? What do you? There were other teams that played this weekend.
Oh yeah, Texas Longhorns had a playoff game this weekend.
Well, there was
no. Come on, no. There wasn't. There was a team from
sorry.
Texas. There was another team from
I'm
Texas.
sorry. I was thinking either Texas Tech or Texas A&M. My bad. I was thinking of the federal schools.
Hey, I'll say this though. I like some of the other smaller bowl games compared to the other 2 college football ones we got. Like the Xbox Bowl, that was sweet. They had Master Chief there, Frank. I don't know if you saw that.
Only thing I will say real quick about the Oregon James Madison game, I do see people saying that, oh, everybody said James Madison didn't belong, but James Madison had the most yards and the most points against Oregon this season. Yeah. After Oregon took out all their fucking players, including all their subs, then James Madison started coming back. It screwed me on a bet. Actually, didn't screw me because I was smart enough to cash out because I saw it happen and I saw him coming back because I had Oregon winning by 20.5. And I saw it wasn't going to happen once he brought the subs in and James Madison started marching down on their defense. If Oregon would have kept their starters in, James Madison wouldn't have had near the yards or the score they ended up with. Oregon was doing the smart thing, though. You got a big lead. You know you still have more games to play. Why taking a chance getting guys injured? Let's get our guys out here and let's just get this game over with. He wasn't worried about the spread, but yeah, I just thought it was funny. All these people talking about, oh, James Madison don't belong, but they put the most yards up against Oregon. Yeah, you got to watch the game and have the context.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to see who's on the field when they scored those points. Was it the starters or was it the third string guys? We know Bobby Boucher and a couple of them guys.
Don't get me wrong, though. James Madison is a good football. I mean, they're a good football team. They're just not at that level. They have some good players. They have a good offense. I mean, they're just not physical enough to play with a team like Oregon and some of these other teams that have the 4 or 5 guys, have the top talent.
Yeah.
That was smart of you to cash out when you did, though, because that could have been worse.
Yeah.
Oh, get this. I'll tell you this real quick. I took the 3 college football games. I had Oregon to win by 20.5. Okay. I had Ole Miss to win by 16.5. I had Miami money line. Then I had the 2 NFL games that day. Forget who the first one was, but I had Green Bay money line. Oh, I had Eagles. I had the Eagles to win by 7, and then I had Green Bay money line. Well, with like 8 minutes left in the fourth quarter, Green Bay's up by 10, and Oregon was up by 28, and they just let them score to get up by 21. And they were offering me a cash out about 75% of what I would have won. So I took the cash out.
That.
And both those teams lost and wouldn't have covered. So I wouldn't have got nothing if I wouldn't have made that decision.
It worked.
Okay, guys. Anybody got anything else before we move on to NFL?
Yeah, I do. I'm upset that you wouldn't bet on Alabama.
Ain't nobody want to put no money on that team.
Oh, that was because that was a Friday game. I didn't pick that on Friday. I just done the Saturday game.
I don't want to hear your excuse. You named every team on every schedule on every day except for Alabama.
I did the 5.
Hey, I am going to put money at Indiana beats Bama because Bama just nothing but a bunch of bums that shouldn't be there anyway. So I'm putting money on Indiana.
Where are you again? Weren't you just crying the other day on why nobody was like congratulating you on Texas winning a stupid bowl? Sit in your corner.
Your corner.
All right, guys, let's move on to NFL. I'll give the scores real quick, and then I've got 4 or 5 games to talk about. We'll let Jay talk about his Cowboys too, and even let Logan talk about his surprising Raiders, who come up with a pretty good performance. They lost.
Well, yeah, they did.
Yeah, they lost. Okay, let's get to the scores. Philadelphia over Washington 29-18. Chicago defeated Green Bay 22-16. The Chargers all over Dallas 34-17. Minnesota 16, Giants 13. Cincinnati all over Miami 45-21. Big win for Carolina 23-20 over Tampa Bay. New Orleans, man, looking like a new team, 29-6 over the Jets. Buffalo 23-20 over Cleveland. Tennessee 26-9 over KC. KC's in trouble. They need a quarterback. Maybe Jay, you can give it a try. Jacksonville all over Denver, man. Crazy game, 34-20. Atlanta 26-19 over Arizona. Houston 23-21 over the Raiders. Pittsburgh 29-24 over Detroit. That was a crazy game. And New England 28-24 over Baltimore. So, guys, the first game I wanted to talk about was Chicago and Green Bay. This game went to overtime. Chicago had 400 total yards of offense, 250 passing, 150 rushing. Had the ball for 38 minutes. Remember, it was overtime also. Green Bay, 384 total yards, 192 passing, 192 rushing. Had the ball for 26 minutes. The big key for Green Bay, 0 for 5 in the red zone. that's right there is why you lost the game. Let's go to Logan first. What's your thoughts on the game?
First off, it was a great game. I thoroughly enjoyed watching this one. Two obviously heated rivals going at it, both teams. Unfortunately for Green Bay, we know Jordan Love got injured. But I will say this, credit to Malik Willis. He came in, he also got hurt, but it didn't really skip much of a beat. They looked really well underneath center, with him underneath center. Of course, we know he's been around the league for a little bit of time now, but they look good overall with Green Bay. Just a couple of missed opportunities there in the red zone cost them. The running game was on point for them. They had a few guys. It wasn't even Josh Jacobs, wasn't even the best rusher for them on the day. But it was just a kind of a blow for blow battle there between Green Bay, Chicago. Of course, we know Romeo Doubs missed that. He whiffed on that onside kick recovery, which that hurt him as well. And Chicago just played perfectly executed football in crunch time. There's really no notes there. That pass to seal the game from Caleb Williams in the end there. Before even the overtime shot, the one on fourth down that tied up the game, that got him into overtime. That was a beautiful ball from a guy who was sleeping on Williams' couch last year. Because we know Chicago had a couple of injuries coming into this game. So the Bears look great. They've been on a roll here lately. And, last year I know we dogged Caleb Williams and everything. The team wasn't good. But, boy, they've got some life in them now. Ben Johnson's done a tremendous job as head coach. The coordinators out of it, they spent a ton of money on their O-line that's paid off. And they're just finding ways to win. DeAndre Swift looked – I know he didn't have a great rushing day in terms of stats, but, the rushes he had, they were impactful. And just an overall good performance, much-needed win for the Bears over Green Bay, who's had their number forever now. I think that they are like 0-6 against Green Bay in the last previous home meetings. So big win for them at home is Chicago. The Bears looking to clinch the NFC North in just a wild, wild contest. And, for Green Bay, they're still hanging on, but it's a little bit tougher now, obviously. And I don't know the status on Jordan Love and how long he's going to be out for, but it is. It seems like the sand's kind of going through the hourglass for Green Bay this season.
Yeah, I think Green Bay needs one more win. I think if they get one more win out of the next two, they do make the playoffs. It's going to be interesting. I don't know who the quarterback's going to be. Don't know about the injuries. Chris, your thoughts on the game?
It was a good football game to watch. Green Bay controlled a lot of most of that game, even with Love getting hurt and going 0 for 5 in the red zone, they were in control. Should have won the game, kind of blew it there at the end. And Chicago, to me, man, they're the team this year that the ball is always bouncing the right way for. We always get one team like that in NFL, like every year. A few years ago was the Vikings, and they were winning every close game somehow on some bounce. It seems like every year is one team. This year it's the Bears. Somehow they find ways to win games when it looks like there's no way that they could come back and win it. Even in that game there, they were, like I said, they were down by 10 with like 4 or 5 minutes left in the game. Didn't look like they were going to have a chance to come back and win, and was able to get an onside kick, didn't get that touchdown throw, just like plays, a bunch of big plays in a row. It was a fun game to watch, but still with me, I think the Bears are living on the edge, and I think early in the playoffs it could come back and bite them, because it kind of reminded me of some of these teams are just kind of winning on getting. I don't want to say lucky, because it ain't luck, but they're getting the right bounce when they need it, and sometimes that kind of runs out. But no, it's a fun game to watch.
Okay, and Frankie, your thoughts?
Yeah, no, I think Chris hit it on the nail, but I am going to say it. I think it's all luck. They played well. They got the onside kick, but they would have gotten that if this dude Dobbs had did your job. It's clear as day on what you got to do on an onside kick when you have the lead and you know it's coming. You recover the ball. I swear to you, this has got to be some type of Vegas bet thing, because there's no way in the HE double hockey sticks that Romeo Doubs misses that catch. This is a guy who was having a fantastic game since what's his name, when Jordan Love went out. He had to step up, and he was catching balls left and right. Deep balls is that. And then an onside kick, you just like let that bounce off your chest. And it's straight luck. But I will tell you this. Caleb Williams to that throw to Moore, DJ Moore at the end of the game in overtime, that was a beautiful throw. It was a beautiful catch. The fact that Caleb Williams threw that, as soon as he threw it, he put his hands back in his pockets like, yeah, I know this is going to be a touchdown. It was absolutely amazing, especially the way DJ Moore was getting beat up all game, getting hit from the back, which I think it was an absolutely an absolute dirty play on the Green Bay Packers side, because you just, hit him in the back without him even looking was absolutely insane. But other than that, I'm not gonna take it away from anyone. A win is a win, and the Cowboys, listen to me. The Chicago Bears did it in a fashionable way to do a comeback, get the onside kick, and then go into overtime to get the win, especially at home against a team that's always owned you guys since Aaron Rodgers. Good job to the Bears. You got one more job to clinch, and it's great to see the Bears back in the playoffs. Honestly, it's a whole different setup.
And Jay, your thoughts?
Yeah, I think most of the you guys have already hit most of the bullet points about that game. I did call Mike Hughes, and I said, or not called him, I texted him, and I said, man, congratulations. I know this has been a long time coming for Mike. Mike is like me, has not had a lot of success with this team in a very long period of time. I think the best thing to ever come out of Detroit was Ben Johnson. I think you saw that, and I think you continue to see how much of an effect Ben Johnson has had on the Chicago Bears team, and is going to be for a good period to come. I think the Bears, like I said, for a long time, have finally got it right. They've had a lot of coaches and quarterbacks and players come in and out of the organization over the last 30 years. And I think the hiring of Ben Johnson was probably the biggest thing they've ever done and got right. So good on the Bears for finally getting the right people into that organization. And Caleb Williams is truly the beneficiary of that. I know in training camp and things like that, they didn't do too well, but towards the end of training camp, they got it corrected, and it shows in this season. With this one is interesting to me. There is nobody behind Malik Willis at the quarterback spot. So obviously Jordan Love will not be there. He will be in concussion protocol for a good period of time. That concussion he took, I think it was a grade 3. It was a pretty severe concussion. So I don't think you're going to see, if you do see Jordan Love, and if they are able to get to the playoffs, I think that's possibly the first time you might see Jordan is in the playoffs. It won't be in the regular season. Malik Willis, I don't know what his injury looks like in terms of how long he may or may not be able to. Right now, you got to list it as questionable. But if Malik can't go and Jordan can't go, who the hell's going to throw the rock in Green Bay? Because they don't have anybody behind them. So that's going to be interesting to see how Green Bay approaches it going into next week and who they're actually going to be or who's going to be available at that QB position. But at the end of the day, I thought, it was good by Chicago, and congratulations. And I like the fact that if I was, a Chicago fan, I'm not, but if I was, I would be really happy with the run game between Monangai and Swift. Both of them had well over, I think Monangai had like 5.5 or somewhere around there, and Swift had around 4.6. They're running the ball well, they're catching the ball well, and nothing is better than a walk-off FU, whether it be baseball or football. And Caleb Williams' walk-off touchdown to DJ Moore was a perfect FU to Green Bay. Love it. And if you do live in Sheboygan, I know right now everybody in Sheboygan is saying, F those fibs. And if you don't know what fib means, it means fucking Illinois bastard. Let's go.
Jesus. Okay. Jay,
and that's a true statement. That's not me making that up. That is a true fucking statement.
That's too
go ahead.
terminology. There you go.
Okay. Jay, real quick, I'm going to go back to you and let you give your quick thoughts on the Dallas Cowboy game. They're losing 34-17 to the Chargers. You're quick. Get on your soapbox. What you got to say?
I'll try to make this quick as humanly possible because this game was just what I expected. And what I mean by that is our offense did good for the most part, right? Pickens had over 130 yards. I mean, Dak he didn't throw any interceptions. This game was won for the other team and lost by our team by how crappy our defense is. We couldn't stop the pass. We couldn't stop the run. And so that is what it is. If you don't have a defense, you're not going to get it done. And that's what happened. We had zero defense. And Jerry Jones said that his team has underachieved this season. Yeah, you think? Jerry, you think? maybe a little bit underachieving. Yeah, it is. And I like how he said, well, we're doing good with our cap. We're spending money correctly. And, I feel good about the team. We have good bones, and we'll address it in the draft and free agency. Jerry, your cap sucks. You have very little money to spend. I don't know what they're smoking over there, but Dallas is in a world of hurt. Offensively, we're good. I'm good offensively. But defensively, we suck ass. The only team that sucks worse than us is every other team out there that doesn't have a good defense, because we're right there at the bottom, in my opinion. And I don't know the direction that Jerry's going to take this team in going forward, but I don't plan to leave Cancun anytime soon. I may just take up a permanent residency there until they can figure it out. Kind of pissed off.
Okay, Logan, I was going to give you an opportunity to talk about your Raiders. They lost 23-21. They performed pretty good. Again, a loss is a loss. But you got any thoughts on your Raiders?
Let me just say this with Jay with the Cowboys. We did not touch on the fact that Trayvon Diggs knocked himself out trying to put a TV mount up. So that's where he's been. His head's been in Cancun the last few weeks. So glad to see he's back and hopefully going to be on the field.
F Trayvon.
I remember you were singing his praises last year, Jay. What happened?
F Trayvon. Logan, shut up. Talk about your Raiders.
I have to. Speaking of permanent residencies in Cancun, Jay, we're neighbors basically out there. You both, brother.
We swap points.
I'm about to tell you, we got 2 wins, but we're also the number 2 pick in the NFL draft. So I'm all for it at this point, bro. I don't care if we win another game. Pete Carroll, take up the Shady Oaks retirement home. You're next, brother. Get out of here. It didn't work out. Tom Brady, you're a better commentator than you are, whatever the hell your role is. Geno Smith, a disappointment again and again and again. I will say this, bright spots, of course. Ashton Genty, you did great. 128 rushing yards, also 60 receiving yards. And everyone talked about Devin White getting all these tackles. He's doing great getting all these tackles. He's a linebacker. I don't want him to get all these tackles. It means they're running up the gut. They're throwing yards. They're doing all this good stuff against us. I don't want that. I don't. I forgot how many games we've lost in a row now. I've lost point. I've stopped caring. I just see the game like, all right, chalk it up for another one. And look, hey, the Texans only won by 2 points. If I'm the locker room, if I'm the coach, I'm saying, what the hell did we do wrong, guys? They got more yards than us, which that's a shock and a half. Bad if the Raiders were one like the Texans were kicking the crap out of us, but another loss, almost over. Jay, the season's almost over, brother. Me and you, our fates have been sealed for the long. Hell, mine was like week 4.
I got a question for you, Logan. Because again, both of our teams have issues. I want Jerry in the draft to really spend time drafting defensive players. And even in free agency, I want him to go after a lot of free agent players on defense. What do you think? Because I think you said you had the number 2 pick. What do you want your team to do to start addressing their issues? Because you have a lot of needs on your team as well. What are you looking for?
Oh God, what am I not looking for? I mean, first off, hey, Chris, Tony, appreciate you boys helping out Fernando. I'll take good care of him. We'll show him a good time in Vegas. I don't think he's going to get corrupted out there. He ain't going to, if we got Diego Pavia, we'd be screwed. But Fernando's got a good head on his shoulders. So we'll take that because Geno Smith is over the hill. Kenny Pickett you ain't him. So I'll take Fernando. First off, quarterback. We need some additional, receiver depth. We all love Brock Bowers due to hell of a talent, but we need more than that. And then hell, just everything on defense. I mean, top to bottom. There's Max Crosby and the bums and everyone else. I mean, there ain't a whole lot else out there. But first and foremost, you got to get the quarterback situation. My God, our offense has been just a dead body all season. For the longest, I mean, hell, we got rid of Chip Kelly because we couldn't get anything going with the rushing game when he drafted one of the best runners, in college football the last 10, 20 years, Ashton Genty. You couldn't figure him out, so you fire his ass. And then now he's like, oh, we need a quarterback. Well, Geno Smith is old. It didn't work. His best year was 2 years ago in Seattle. And I mean, you've got no one to throw to except for Brock Bowers. Trey Tucker's been hit or miss. Some weeks are better than the others, but I mean, it's been awful. It has. Jay, how about we do a scenario? Do you want to trade Jerry Jones for Mark Davis? We just swap their roles. They can take over each other's teams. See if we do any better.
That's awful.
Actually, I would take that. You know why I would take that? No, I would take that. You want to know why? Because Mark Davis, unlike Jerry Jones, would at least hire a GM. We may have to do a good correction to get a GM, but if we can get a good GM, we can probably get a different coach. So you know what? I probably would take that. I probably would. Here's the thing. I don't know who's got number 1 pick, but I believe a defensive player is going number 1. The Giants, do you know they're going to go defense at number, if they stay at number 1, they're going to go D. And if that's the case, then you would have a shot at Mendoza. And could you imagine pairing up Mendoza, the Heisman winner, with Ashton Genty, a good running back, a good quarterback? I mean, that's a good start on that rebuild. You already got a good tight end and Brock Bowers. I mean, that would be a good start for your franchise.
It scares me because we all know who the last number 1 overall pick was for this team. That was a quarterback. Jamarcus Russell.
Yeah, we do.
So I blame Big Phil for that, being an LSU fan. That's why I didn't know him 15 years ago, but he was putting his curse on me back then.
Here's something you both don't know. The Raiders. Oh. Can you tell me who they play next week?
I ain't got no, bro. I haven't looked at the schedule. I don't care.
The Raiders play the New York Giants next week.
Oh, wow.
Hey, the tanks are rolling in, boys. It's a tank bowl. Just lose, baby. Just lose. Or something like that.
Hey, I don't care if Mendoza goes to the Raiders. As long as you don't end up with the fucking Jets, I'll be all right.
Oh.
And I don't blame you, Chris. Chris, I don't blame you for saying that because that would be the worst thing that could ever happen to him.
I would. The Jets need something on and I'm sure y'all have seen the stat. The Jets are now 2 games away. If they don't get a pick, they'll be the only team in NFL history to never get interception. And they've expanded the how many games you play.
Yeah.
Aaron Glenn's supposed to be a tough defensive-minded head coach. No interceptions.
Supposedly, Jay's been saying he sees improvement in his defense since week 1.
That's those cold takes we had with.
Okay, guys.
He even came out last week and said, "I see improvement still in this defense."
Oh, Jay.
Well, you got to admit. Okay, let's be honest. Let's just say. Let me just. I'm gonna close out. I'm gonna give it to you. I just want to say on just all that. You can't say that the Jets don't have a good D. Now, they have traded away a lot of players, right? You know they traded away. Hell, Gonzo, you got one of their players in Sauce Gardner, right? Yeah. So, I mean, the Jets have kind of taken a big step down, which may be a step forward, depending on how they do in the draft and things like that with the picks that they got. So, we'll see. But right now, yeah, the Jets are really bad.
Yeah, there is a rumor going around the Jets are going to try to move up to number 1. To go for a quarterback. There is.
Oh my God, Mendoza
you gotta give up
going
Garrett
to
Wilson.
Jets.
That's all they got. Who
Yeah.
else are you gonna trade on that team?
Yeah.
You could trade Breece Hall.
Well, more draft picks, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. Guys, let's move on. Let's move on to Frankie's team, New England. New England defeated Baltimore 28-24. New England 453 total yards of offense, 374 pass, 79 rush. They did get sacked 4 times. They also had a couple of turnovers. Baltimore 330 in total yards, 159 pass, 171 yards rushing. Sacked 1 time, 2 turnovers. New England had the ball 32 minutes of the game. Pretty good game. Baltimore's playing pretty well. Of course, lost Jackson. I think that hurt them some. Then they started running the football. Do you guys know, did Baltimore's lead back get hurt?
Henry?
Yeah, because they're at the end of the game, he wasn't in. I mean,
in the second quarter before the 2-minute warning, he ended up leaving the game on the sideline saying he had a back injury.
No. Derrick Henry.
No, talking about Henry.
Oh, no. Derrick Henry that was coaching decision, Tony. They thought that was stupid.
Coaching decision?
He's a
Get John Harbaugh out of there.
Fire that coach. He's an idiot. I mean,
he got that touchdown. He got them that touchdown to make it 24-13, and then he didn't see the field again, and it was at an 11-minute mark in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
All right. So Tony, I have a quote here, and this is from ESEN.com. This is from John Harbaugh talking about that. He says Henry was coming back in the game. Keaton Mitchell started the game. Derek and Keaton had talked about that. Keaton had started the other drive, and then Derek came in and finished it off. So it was part of that rotation. He was going back in the game, and then we got stopped. Looking back, would I rather have Derek starting the drive? Yeah, but Derek was kind of ready for Keaton to start the drive, and he was planning on coming in next. So they were working that rotation. You look back on it, and I think it's pretty easy to say, hey, he should have been in there or he shouldn't have been in there. But we're rotating those guys throughout the game as two backs. But yeah, game-winning drive. Do I want Derek Henry on the field? Sure, I do want him on the field. You idiot. You could have just subbed him in.
Yeah, the last two drives, he wasn't in. The last two or three times they had the ball, he was not in the game. It didn't make any – after he scored that touchdown, I don't think he's seen the field again.
He didn't, and I don't care. I take it.
They're in the rotation.
But you know what I did learn though, and Frankie, I'm not trying to come at you. Don't want you to think that, but in all honesty, what I did take away from that game, and it really goes to what they're saying about Henry not being out there the last two drives, is you guys were having a really hard time stopping the run. Like you had a hard time stopping the run, and the fact that they
were having a hard time stopping Derrick Henry because the other guy.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, wait a minute, because the other guy couldn't run the ball hardly at all.
Mitchell could.
They just couldn't stop.
That's
Derrick
what I'm
Henry.
saying. Yeah. No. And to your
Everybody
point,
has trouble
that's
stopping
no. What I'm saying that's what I'm saying. That's why I started off with Henry not being in there the last two drives. And to your point, they couldn't stop Henry. If you want to make it specific, yeah, you're right. They could not stop Henry. And I don't know. That's why I said I don't know why. And what you're saying, I don't know why he wasn't in there the last two drives when you know that the man is running the ball like a vengeance.
Yeah.
Hey,
yeah.
Zay Flowers, the receiver, had more rushing yards than Mitchell.
Yeah.
One carry for 18 yards.
That's crazy.
Let's get Frankie's thoughts on the game. Frankie, what do you think?
I thought it was a good game. I'm proud of my boys, honestly. Yeah, we were down 24-13, but we kept our head ups and we showed pride and we went out there. And Drake May went out there and did Drake May things. He threw the long ball to Kyle Williams for the long touchdown to make it a 3-point game. Oh, he also got the 2-point conversion as well to Ramondre Stevenson after that to make it a 3-point game. And then just I feel like you guys are saying, I agree. The coaching decision on the Baltimore Ravens part was actually bad. I mean, you should have kept Derrick Henry in there, knowing that we couldn't stop Derrick Henry the entire game. I don't understand why you just didn't have him out there when you're knowing that we came back and made it a 3-point game. Anything could have happened. So the fact that the coaching part of Baltimore did that to them, I take it. I don't care. It ain't my team. My coach was smart enough to not do something like that. But, just for Drake May to, keep it on his shoulders and go out there and not feel defeated, he went out there and he said, we're still in this game and we're going to continue to drive this ball down the field. The main part that got me was Stephon Diggs finally showed up again. The last 3 games, he had a total of about 74 yards in the last 3 games combined. Last night, he finished with 9 receptions of 138 yards. No touchdowns, but when you have Stephon Diggs doing Stephon Diggs thing, you're going to end up winning the game. We did lose Trevion Henderson to a concussion. I'm hoping that he comes back before playoffs. But at this point, we already clinched. So you might as well just sit him out the rest of the year and get himself healthy because we are going to need his speed in the playoffs. That's a big loss. We also lost 5 people on defense as well. So I'm hoping, that we're actually losing men left and right now. So it's okay. It's not bad injuries. I'm getting news that these players are just like day to day right now, but they will be back for playoffs. But last night was a really good game. It was sad Lamar Jackson went out, honestly, because I want to see my boys go up against the best, and it would have been a better game. But other than that, I'm gonna take the win. We clinched the playoffs, and we just got one more. We gotta get one more win to clinch the AFC East, and I'm really proud of these boys and what Mike Vrabel has done to turn this 4-win team last year into a 12-win team this year.
Well, I mean, anybody can do it with that soft schedule, but okay.
Hey, Gerard Mayo's pretty pissed. He's at home just, man, this could have been me. This could have been me.
I don't know. I think Vrabel has had an impact on that team that's incredible. My thing is, I feel like towards the end of that game, they got a little sloppy in terms of protecting the ball security, things like that. But they got the win. I just wonder, let's be honest. One thing about this team in Baltimore is their defense does not look good. I mean, they've had a bad defense. So, I mean, does that concern you, Frankie? And I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but does that concern you that you guys did struggle against a little bit more of a lackluster defense? I guess it does concern him.
Okay, Chris, your thoughts on the game?
No, it was a good game. To me, New England done what they had to do to win, but you can tell what's hurting New England right now. They're really missing Will Campbell, their offensive tackle. They're missing him. They'll be without him at least one more week, and then they'll have him back. And I think that'll help their offensive line a lot because they were giving up way too many sacks last night, and May was under a lot of pressure, especially in that first half. So I think getting him back will help New England. And New England, one thing New England has to fix before the playoff, they need to fix quick if they want to go on a deep run in the playoffs, is a red zone defense.
Yeah.
New England has the worst red zone defense in the NFL. And so they got to fix that, especially when they didn't score in the red zone last night. They were having trouble scoring in the red zone, and the other team was scoring in all their red zone attempts. And one thing people do forget, the Ravens defense has been bad this year, but over the last 4 weeks, the Ravens defense has been one of the highest ranked defenses in the NFL. So the Ravens have turned their defense around from what it was. So their defense is playing a lot better now than what it had been. But no, it is one of them games for a young team in New England that they had to find a way to battle and win a game. I think that can help you in the long run. But yeah, to me, they got to get healthy on the offensive line, and they got to figure out the red zone if New England's going to make a deep run in the playoffs.
One thing too, Chris, to add on things that concern me about New England is they took a lot of injuries in that game. I know Farmer had a hamstring injury, the defensive tackle. Charles Woods, the cornerback, hurt his ankle, and Demario Douglas also injured his hamstring, and defensive lineman Carreras Tonga hurt his foot. There's some injuries over there. Do you know if any of those injuries are going to be long lasting going into the playoffs for the New England?
I'm not sure on that, but I do know they were at one time last night. They were on their third offensive tackle because Campbell was already out. And then Mumford got hurt.
He did.
They had to bring in another guy. Then Mumford tried to come back in. Yeah. So they were down. They were down 2 or 3 offensive linemen at one time.
Yeah, they got a lot of injuries right now.
I do know Campbell's coming. He's supposed to come back off IR in week 18. So they'll just miss him for one more week. I'm not sure about any of the other guys.
That Mumford the hit on Mumford, that was pretty bad. I mean, pretty rough looking. I don't know the severity of it, but that was a pretty rough hit he took.
Okay. Logan, you got any thoughts on the game?
Good win for New England. This was, like I said, a statement win against a competitive Baltimore team. Like you said, could have been probably closer had Lamar stayed in. He was having a good day up till that point. I think he finished 7 of 10 with a little bit over 100 yards passing before he unfortunately went off that back injury. I don't know Baltimore has maybe a slight chance to still get in the playoffs, perhaps, but if I'm Harbaugh, I don't know. I mean, is there a point really to rush them back if you're just kind of playing just for stats at that point? When you can maybe keep them healthy and going to the next season, because we know he didn't look good this year. And I mean, injuries are a factor as well, but give a little bit of extra time off and obviously Baltimore's been very up and down all year long, right? We think, all right, they're going to get hot. They cool off, and right when they're cold, they win. So rough one for them, really just all season long. They're just hoping to finish at 500 at this point. And for New England, I know we all said their schedule sucks, but they can't control that. And credit to all the auditions they made. Drake Mays, a lot of people say is a front runner for MVP, and I mean that was a good win last night. So as for team wide, like I said, time to start resting some guys. There's no need. I mean, you're already clinched up. Just take it easy, relax, and just keep as many guys healthy as you can for the playoffs. Because we know, like I said, New England's on a hell of a winning streak. Well, they won 10 in a row for the longest. So they look good. And like I said, just rest up, take it easy, and enjoy the playoffs. Frankie, you guys did a good job so far this year. Just finish on a high note and look forward to the playoffs.
Yeah, Logan, real quick on Baltimore, if they win next week, then they would go into the last week against Pittsburgh. And if they was to beat Pittsburgh, they make the playoffs. They have, I guess they have the tiebreaker against Pittsburgh. So if they can get to a final game with Pittsburgh, they have to win next week, though. If they lose another game, they would be out. But if
Pittsburgh wins next week. If Pittsburgh wins next week, there's no point if Baltimore winning next week.
No, they played the last game of the season.
Yeah, but if Pittsburgh wins next week, they still have the 1 game advantage. Like they're up
They
1
get the
game.
clinch.
next week they have a 1 game advantage. You go to the final game, they play each other, then it's a tie, and I think Baltimore has the tiebreaker.
I just wonder, and
No.
let me get you guys' thoughts on this. And real quick, Frankie, your thoughts. Zay Flowers, if he doesn't have that late turnover, which basically sealed your win, if he doesn't have that late turnover, do you think that Baltimore wins that game? And we're not talking about New England winning.
No.
Okay.
I feel like because I've seen it in multiple games that when we have a lead that close with that little time left in the fourth quarter, I know that Mike Vrabel has that defense like, okay, we're going to stay tight. We're going to play tight. We're going to do everything we can to get the stop here. And, before they got the first down because we ended up having them on I think it was a 3rd and long, and they ended up getting a first down to continue the drive. Just in that first 3 series of that first drive in the final minutes, how tight they were playing just showed me that that's how they step up with that final minutes. The 2-minute defense in the fourth quarter. But what happened at that last minute, just the defender coming from behind and punching that out, literally like that's defense plays right there. It was like, how short time is in the fourth quarter. You have a 4-point lead. Everything's on the line right now. Playoffs is like literally on the line. So the fact that he snuck up behind Zay Flowers and just punched that out because Zay Flowers didn't even know he was behind him. That's defense mentality right there, and I feel like that's what Mike Vrabel has. This defense in every game in any game of any minute in any drive. This is what the mindset that Mike Vrabel puts them on. I just like the fact that it wasn't our true starting defending players. These are our backups that stepped up and showed that we are an actual team that sticks behind Mike Vrabel and everyone else. So I'm loving that. This is what the defense is. I'm never worried about my defense, Jay. I'm really not. I know sometimes people would say that they are, but when it comes to the New England Patriots, I feel like we always have a steady defense. So ever since the Bill Belichick era, we always have a steady defense. Even with Gerard Mayo last year, we lost a lot of games, yeah, but we didn't get blown out in a lot of games. So that shows that the defense is good. You just lose to in the last final minutes or whatever.
Hey, Dad, real quick. What you were saying would have been right if Baltimore would have won last night. Now that Baltimore lost last night,
Yeah.
Steelers would have to lose out, and Baltimore would have to win out because the Steelers are up by 2 games right now. Steelers are 9-0.
Okay, I misunderstood what the guy said on TV.
Steelers are 9-6. Steelers are 9-6. Ravens are 7-8. So Steelers would have to lose this week, and Ravens would have to be. I think they play Los. I forget who they play now. But then I misunderstood that matchup.
I apologize for that. I misunderstood that because I thought that's what they said on TV last night.
It's because you Mexicans never listen. That's why. You Mexicans always think you're right.
Baltimore plays Green Bay on the 27th in Lambeau.
What about Puerto Ricans? You guys just know you're wrong most time?
Yeah, I told you the truth about it. I was honest about it. You fighting me on it.
Hey, I was wrong. I apologize. Okay, guys.
Chris had to bring out his 50% white in him.
Yeah, at best.
You know what's interesting though? You know what's interesting about that though is so they got Green Bay next, and the issues that Green Bay is dealing with at quarterback. It's very possible they could beat Green Bay, and then they wrap up the season with Pittsburgh. They are very much still in it.
Pittsburgh would have to lose to who's Pittsburgh play this week?
Now that Cleveland. I don't know, which is a good point.
Pittsburgh plays Cleveland. If Pittsburgh beats Cleveland.
They better not lose to Cleveland.
Well, you never know.
I mean,
Miles Garrett's still looking to get that sack record.
Miles Garrett's on that hunt right now. So
let's be honest. One hard hit from Miles Garrett on an Aaron Rodgers. I mean, let's be honest.
Yeah. I'm also looking at it as. And I'm glad we're talking about the Browns right now because they just lost to the Bills by 3.
Yeah, they played
a
close.
Buffalo Bills team by 3. Should we start questioning the Bills in the playoffs if they're winning games of a Cleveland Browns team who's only got 3 wins on the season by 3 points?
What about the Texans only beating the Raiders by 2 points? Shouldn't we start questioning the Texans?
We should. or did their defense just get tired out from all the weeks of just dominating?
But I'm not taking up for him, but it seems like Buffalo has played down to the competition this year. I don't know why, but I mean, if you notice a lot of those games against those teams, they have struggled against some of those teams, and I mean, I don't know why. It's the NFL. You should be ready every game, but it seems like they've played down to the competition. Guys, let's move on to the next game: Carolina and Tampa Bay. Big win for Carolina. They won 23-20. Carolina had 275 yards of total offense, 174 yards passing, 101 rushing. Didn't have any turnovers, but only had the ball 25 minutes. Tampa Bay, 296 yards of total offense, 127 yards passing, 169 yards rushing, had a turnover, and had the ball for 34 minutes. Chris, your thoughts on this game?
I didn't get to see a lot of this game. What I saw of it looked like it was a pretty good game. And then, of course, you look at the score. What looks like to me what hurt Tampa Bay was the turnovers and penalties. You can't have it's hard to win games when you have that many penalties, have 9 penalties for that many yards. And when Carolina did have the ball, they were able to run the ball and try to control the clock some, but neither team could throw the ball. That's what kind of surprised me. Baker only threw for 127 yards, and you have all your offensive weapons back. Everybody was talking, he has all the weapons back. This offense is going to be unstoppable. Wasn't very unstoppable this week, and now Panthers set themselves up good. I mean, it was a big one in this first game between Tampa, because now going into, especially if you can win next week, all the pressures on Tampa going into that last matchup.
Yeah, I agree. And Jay, your thoughts?
Yeah, this was just, in my opinion, Baker didn't have his best game, right? I think he threw for less than 150 yards or right at about 150 yards, touch and a pick. I mean, it just, Baker has been doing a lot of really good things this season, really to really show you how good he is. And this is just one of those games he just didn't have his best game. They didn't run the ball well. Neither one of them ran the ball well, honestly. But I think Carolina's defense played just a little bit better than what Tampa's did, obviously, because they got a 3-point win. But it was just, man, Tampa is just not looking the same. They have not looked the same. And like the last, I would say 2 or 3 games, I don't think Tampa has looked right. So something's going on over in Tampa, and really it kind of starts with the defense. But really, it also still is with Baker and that passing game. Those are the 2 biggest things. And I got to tell you, man, if I'm Tampa, and I don't know how you guys feel about it, but I'm looking at Todd Bowles. I got to imagine Todd's got to be on the damn hot seat at this point.
I don't know, because he's had so many injuries.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be, but they had an awful lot of injuries this year.
Yeah. See, it's tough, though, because they have had injuries for sure on, both sides of the ball. Mostly offense is what we kind of talk about. But they've lost 6 of their last 7 games. If they hadn't won in the middle, they would have lost 7, 8 in a row.
Yeah.
And I mean, this is a team that was primed to win the division, 5 weeks ago, give or take. They were in a good spot because Atlanta had already started to fall apart. Carolina was on the fringe, and we said, okay, Tampa, this is your division to lose, and damn it, they're losing it.
That Atlanta game was really, really bad for Tampa.
Yeah,
it really was.
That was a rough. I mean, Baker hasn't looked right for a while. He's looked a bit off. I don't know what like I said, I know he's been a little banged up, but he hasn't looked nearly as clutch as he has in seasons past. He played like he was back on the Panthers in the practice squad in this game. He didn't look good at all. And I will say this: hey, credit to Carolina. I didn't see this coming. I thought they'd still be, 3rd in the division. But Bryce Young has stepped up this year. He's looked good. Rico Dowdle didn't have a great game this game, but he's looked better all season. And they've got a solid defense out there with Scott, with J.C. Horn. I mean, they've got a really solid team. I don't think they're going to make a big splash in the playoffs, but at least for their divisional standings, they are in that spot to win out, or I don't know about win out, but win the NFC South, and just also a crappy division. But looking ahead for Carolina, we know that they do have the top spot. They're 8-7, and the final 2 games they have are against the Seahawks this upcoming week. That's going to be in Carolina. That's going to be a tough one. That's a real kind of that's a real litmus test there to see, are you legit or not? If you can beat Seattle, who's, like I said, Seattle's been on a great, obviously tremendous season out there in the West. And then when all comes down, it's probably going to come down to this, fellas. Final game of the year against Tampa. So they're meeting again here in 2 weeks. We'll see how it goes, but we'll see what happens. But yeah, for Tampa, it's been rough for them. Their next game's against the Dolphins. They should beat the Dolphins. So they're still in position to take it over. I think Carolina, I believe, does have the tiebreaker with them, but it's going to come down to that final game. I can pretty much guarantee it. It looks like.
Yeah, I agree with you guys. I think a big thing with Tampa Bay, I don't think Baker's 100%. I don't even know if he's 80%. So I think that's really hurting them right now. And if you would have told me, looking at the stats, that Carolina's going to only have 101 yards rushing and only have the ball 25 minutes of the game, I'd have told every single one of you that they're losing that game.
Right.
And, because I thought they was going to have to run for 150, 160 yards because that's when they usually win games. So, but their defense did a great job on Tampa Bay's offense. Other than Tampa Bay went crazy rushing, which is unusual for Tampa Bay. So, backwards. Yeah, it was kind of backwards. I agree. But, guys, let's move on to the next game. Jacksonville and Denver. Jacksonville winning 34-20. Jacksonville had 346 total yards of offense, 265 passing, 81 rushing. They did get sacked 5 times, and they had the ball for 33 minutes. Denver had 445 total offense, 344 yards of passing, 101 yards rushing. They did have 2 turnovers, I think, were big in the game, and only had the ball 27 minutes. Jay, your thoughts on this game?
Yeah. I apologize. What game were you talking about? I apologize.
Jacksonville and Denver.
No, I had a text come in. I was reading. I apologize. Jacksonville and Denver. Yeah, here's my thing with Jacksonville. First of all, Cohen has done a really good job with Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence, when he came out of Debo's system there at Clemson, he was looking amazing. I thought this guy was going to do really, really well in the NFL. And then he comes out. Now, he had a lot, he had Urban Meyer as a head coach, stuff like that. So he was kind of set up for failure. I felt like a little bit of that. And then when Cohen came into his life, we all kind of make fun of the press conference that Cohen did, right? But one thing you can't make fun of about Cohen is the way he's got this Jacksonville team playing. Now, here's the only thing, my only concern with Jacksonville is that when they're on their game, like this game against Denver, they look amazing. Like they could legit looks like they could be in the AFC Championship game. But then that's not always the way they play. You look at some of the other games where they don't play. They're very inconsistent. So the only thing I would say Jacksonville needs to do if they really want to get to the Super Bowl is you got to be consistent. You got to consistently play like you did against this game in Denver. And if they can do that, then they have a very good shot at not only being in the AFC, but competing for a Super Bowl. But they got to play consistently and not be inconsistent. That's the only downside I got with them. Otherwise, other than that, man, I thought Trevor Lawrence did a good game.
And Logan, your thoughts on the game?
Yeah, I thought that, like I said, Jacksonville's offense is just did a 180 compared to last year, seasons past. And Trevor Lawrence is looking like that #1 overall pick from years ago. He's looked great. I think in the last 4 games, he's had 12 or 13 touchdowns, no interceptions. So credit to him. If he can keep it clean, if he can avoid the turnovers, and if Jacksonville's offense is humming like it has been, they have a really good shot, like Jay said, kind of be a sleeper pick for some people to make a good playoff run. And like I said, the defense, and this was just a really good team also in Denver. They've won 6 games in a row. They started off against the Chargers. I was like, okay, hey, good win. Let's see if they can continue. They beat a bunch of cream puff teams that have losing records. They said, okay, that's expected. But it's like, all right, another big test here with Denver. We know they're fighting for the AFC West title. And like I said, you put up 34 points against a lot of people say, one of the best top 5 defenses in the league right now. And that's a credit to, the game plan with Cohen, offense coordinator, everyone on the sidelines, and of course the players for executing. They've looked good. ETN, like I said, we know the Broncos have a good run defense, held them to just 50 yards. Washington, where the hell did he come from? 145 yards on 6 catches. I mean, he looked great. And Jacksonville, man, they are looking really good right now. Like, they're red hot, trying to end the year. They also ended Denver's 11-game win streak. So, I mean, tip of the hat for them. You just got to hope. Like any team's kind of on a big win streak right now. You don't flame out before the season ends. Because we see teams get super hot, which you want to, but you can start a little bit early. And then, on Denver's sake, sometimes a loss is needed to get back on track, to recoup, to kind of get off your high horse a little bit in a way, and say, all right, here's what went wrong. Let's retool. Let's come back next week and improve and get even better going into the playoffs, like both these teams are. But yeah, I mean, hats off to Jacksonville, man. This is a team that's kind of been down the dumps for a long time. And also, I mean, hey, Travis Hunter, they picked him up this year. And I mean, he's been out for some time. I forget how many weeks exactly, but they're doing this without their first overall pick. So they have really been playing well, and we'll see how long it can continue. But happy to see Jacksonville back in the limelight again.
Yeah, I think the big difference over, like you said, the last few weeks, the quarterback play for Jacksonville's got a lot better, and I think that's been the big thing. Whether that can continue or not, I don't know. They did get sacked 5 times, but like I said, Denver's pretty good at going after the quarterback. I was surprised that Denver lost this game. I really was, to be honest. Chris, your thoughts on this game?
Good football game to me. The big difference in this game was the 2 turnovers. The 2 turnovers really hurt Denver. I think that was the big difference in the game and why they lost the game. Denver's defense didn't play didn't play up to their standard either in this game. Their defense usually a lot stingier than what they were. But I will say Trevor Lawrence probably the best game I've seen him play as a pro. I thought he played real well. But yeah, I'm sure we'll probably see these 2 teams play again. I mean, if you look at the numbers, Denver really outplayed them, other than the two turnovers that really set them back. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see these teams play again.
Yeah,
I agree with you on that, Chris. I think Bo Nix, that fumble and that interception really, really hurt them. So yeah, I 100% agree with that.
Okay, guys, our next game, Pittsburgh and Detroit. This was an odd game. Pittsburgh won 29-24. Pittsburgh 481 yards of total offense, 251 pass, 230 rushing. So the dual running backs doing a good job. Did have a turnover, but they had the ball for 34 minutes. Detroit had 361 yards of total offense. The 346 passing, and this was the one that really was crazy. Only 15 yards rushing from Detroit. Who would think Detroit's only going to have 15 yards rushing?
Yeah.
And we've talked on this show before. If Detroit runs the football, they're tough to beat. But a crazy game, real crazy ending. A lot of people upset by the ending. I think it was the right call. I think it was pass interference unfortunately on that receiver. He did push him pretty good, and the guy did a pretty good job of acting too. Or they win that game. So, but it was a crazy game. Chris, your thoughts on this one?
Just want to say, yeah, it was a crazy game. Some close calls there, a couple of questionable calls there at the end of that game. The one in the end zone, and then there was also one before that I thought went against Detroit that probably shouldn't have. The last one was close. I've seen worse than that not called, but I've also seen it called. That's the problem with pass interference in the NFL is there's no clear cut guide to what is pass interference and what's not. It's all up to a referee's judgment. It just depends on which referee you have at that time. Because like I said, we've seen guys get shoved a lot worse than that and not get called. But then I've also seen less called. So it's one of them. Me personally, I didn't feel like it was pass interference. I thought it was more of a flop by the defensive guy. But I could also see where, hey, it wasn't a flop and the guy pushed. It was a harder push. It just, like I said, it depends on which ref you have. But yeah, the big thing is Detroit has to run the football. They couldn't get their run game going. When they can't get the run game going, they struggle. So, and Pittsburgh was able to get their run game going. Jaylen Warren had a hell of a game. But yeah, I mean, but the problem is Montgomery only had 4 carries, and Gibbs only has 7 carries. Like you got to get them guys carries. They got into a shootout too much, and Montgomery had some catches, I know. Like the guys Gibbs had 10 receptions. I mean, I know you were getting Gibbs the ball that way, but still, you got, if you're Detroit, you got to be able to run the ball, especially with all the injuries Detroit has on the defensive side of the ball. They got to be able to run the ball, control the time of possession, so their defense isn't out in the field the whole time getting tired because of all the injuries they have. And I thought that was a big part of this football game, was not being able to run the ball. But yeah, Detroit's in trouble, and Pittsburgh set themselves up perfect where if they can win this week, they're in the playoffs.
Real quick, you talk about the pass interference. Want to go back just for a second real quick, guys, to that New England game. There was a pass interference in that New England game that didn't get called. That was ridiculous. The guy from Baltimore basically tackled that guy, and then he caught it, and he's bobbling, and the guy slaps it out of his hand. But he tackled him. He hit his legs before the ball ever got there. The dude's falling, and they didn't call pass interference. I mean, it was one of the worst non-calls I've ever seen.
I agree.
Man.
And that would have been against New England, and I mean that could have cost them the game. It didn't. They end up, but that was crazy.
You couldn't pay me enough to be an NFL ref, bro. No. There's no way with as much. And look, deserved flack too for some of these calls throughout, each game. But I mean, they get beat up more than any other refs out there.
Well, stuff's happening fast too.
Oh, for sure,
it's full speed. So I mean, I'm not.
And look, I don't want them to review every single play.
Yep.
You know what I mean? I know it's tough to do that. There's sometimes you can review it. There's sometimes you can't. And look, there's a reason the NFL goes through so many rule changes. Is because they try to appease the fans and fan bases and everything. So it's just a big mess out there. And Joe putting his 2 cents in there about the ref situation.
Well, Joe's picking Jacksonville to make the playoffs.
He said Super Bowl. He said Jackson the Super Bowl. So.
Yeah, that's what he said. Who knows, man? It's been a crazy year.
You ain't kidding.
Logan, I guess it's going to be Jags and Cowboys in the Super Bowl because he said Cowboys are in the Super Bowl.
Oh,
that's what he's been telling us all year. The Cowboys in the Super Bowl.
Well, that's over now. He can't take the Cowboys.
Yeah,
I don't know who he's taking now in the NFC, but he can't take the Cowboys.
Joe, who's your other pick? We know you got the AFC locked.
He'll probably take the Eagles. I know Joe's a big Eagles fan.
Okay.
Oh Lord. Yeah, he loves the Eagles. Yeah, he loves the Eagles. I know who Jay's going with Super Bowl.
Oh, yeah, that's no doubt.
No doubt.
He's going with his Texans.
He's going with Texans. Logan, your thoughts on the football game last night, Pittsburgh, Detroit?
I will say this. The streak continues. Mike Tomlin, another winning season. So hats off to him. I don't really care if you don't win the playoffs, brother. You haven't won the playoffs.
Mike. F you, Mike. You ain't taking it from Tom. Tom's still the dude. No, he really is. He gonna get Tom, I think, on that one.
Yeah, but hey, man, the Steelers got to win the playoffs. You know what I mean? That's what I'm looking for. You can go above 500 for years on end. I don't care at this point. Mike Tomlin ain't won a playoff game in like 7 years. You got to get it done. You got to at least win one round in the playoffs if you want to get some respect. Back at it against that. Oh, well, they finished above 500. Hooray! All right, cool. But honestly, I think, we're all in agreement. Why Detroit just abandoned the run game? And look, I get you have to, establish the run early if you want to get it going, but damn, you didn't give them a chance. They didn't run the ball nearly enough. And Jared Goff, to his credit, man, he was gunslinging like Matthew Stafford was with the Lions back when they were winning 4 games a year, him and Calvin Johnson. But you gotta mix it up some. And the Steelers still have a really good defense. They got 7 tackles for loss, I believe 5 sacks on the night. And the Steelers still have a very good team. Aaron Rodgers did a good job overall. 266, 1 touchdown, kept it clean, sacked twice. But also, I mean, the true top performance was Jaylen Warren, the running game, averaged 10 yards a rush, and they couldn't stop him. And Kenny Gainwell did great job running game, passing. I mean, he was doing everything, much to Tony's fantasy team, I know. Yes. Jack of all trades. But, yeah, for Detroit, they've kind of like with Baltimore we talked about, right? A team that had a lot of high hopes coming into this year, just kind of falling short. Just, you look good, then you fall apart. Look good, you fall apart. And it's tough, but we all kind of thought that they would take a step back with the loss for their DC and their OC this offseason. And that came to fruition. I get they've had some injuries. Don't get me wrong.
A lot of injuries again, yeah.
But, at some point, You still get your main quarterback, still get your main two rushers, and you scratch your head and say, man, you only give them the ball combined 12 times on the day, when we've seen both Montgomery and Gibbs, and yes, they were effective in the passing game, but you got to get more of a run game going. And this late in the season, it's kind of stuff that you look back on, that you analyze and say, man, this is why we missed the playoffs, or this is why we didn't win this game. And I mean, the Lions were in this game; they had a chance to win it, but they just couldn't. I mean, that third quarter was just 2 points in total. You got on a safety, and for Pittsburgh. But hey, like it's a good win for them. They went on the road as well, and the fourth quarter was just an absolute blow. They scored combined 21 points or 31 points combined between the two of them. So they look good in the fourth. But for Pittsburgh, hey, good work for Pittsburgh. They're still in it. They're still fighting. And I will say this: Aaron Rodgers. I don't know what the hell it is about the Jets. Boy, that just cripples career. Oh my God! And I will say this: I think all of us said that he was cooked. Right? He's over 40. He's old. He ain't looking good. I know. Me and Jay. I know we were just what are we doing here, Aaron? What are we doing?
Everyone except me.
No, Chris believed in him.
Chris was the lone believer,
but not as much as Chris.
Yeah, Chris was the lone man waving that flag, saying, "Aaron Rodgers, you still got it, brother." And he's been solid this season for Pittsburgh. So, hey, we get it wrong sometimes. What can you say?
Jay, your thoughts on the game?
Yeah. Number one, I think the loss of Ben Johnson really has affected this Detroit team in terms of the consistency, in terms of the play calling. You're right. Jahmyr Gibbs had 2 carries for 7 yards. I think it was 0.5 or 0.05, something like that he was averaging. Montgomery was still doing a good job. But when you run out the ball 11, 12 times, and look, it's not like they're getting blown out. There was a 1-possession game or a 1-score game. So there's no reason to abandon the run, all the way abandon the run. That's ridiculous to me. Amon St. Brown, is it a little ticky-tack? Yeah, but at the end of the day, if he would have just bumped him to get him off like this, he probably would have been fine, no problems, catch the ball, you get the win. But the fact that you extend your arm all the way out, you're going to get called. And it just is what it is. At the end of the day, Detroit, the thing that bothers me the most about Detroit is just the fact that they're so damn inconsistent. And you're right. Jaylen Warren, they couldn't stop him. 143 yards. That dude was running all over the place. And they could not stop Jaylen Warren, period. Rodgers, you don't got to do nothing crazy. Facilitate the game, get the win. Let your defense do what they do. Because that's one thing, too. Pittsburgh came in there very, very physical against this Detroit team, and they didn't like the physicality of it. Now, you can say Aaron Glenn not there, maybe being there, whatever. Maybe that affected them on the defense, and that part of the inconsistency of this team. But at the end of the day, Dan Campbell is still your team, and he's still going to get this team ready. And maybe you're being exposed for just having some really good-ass coordinators, and you're just feeding off of what they left you with. And maybe that's why you still have the success you have. But at the end of the day, you got to run the ball more. You got to defend the ball better, and you got to stop being so soft. Because that's what you are. You played soft, and Pittsburgh took advantage of that. And they did. I don't even know. I didn't get to catch part of it. Was TJ Watt even in this game, or is he still on the IR?
I honestly don't know.
Because I didn't remember seeing him in that game.
I don't think he's on IR, but he set out again.
Yeah, because I didn't see him anywhere in there, and I didn't know if that was just their own decision or if he was still hurt.
Yeah, Jay, I agree with you. Well, to a point, the offense is a little inconsistent, but they still scored 24 points. I mean, the problem to me with them is their defense, and they got a lot.
Yeah.
They do have a lot of injuries, but still, I mean, they got to fix that defense. Defense was the issue last year, and it's still an issue. So, I mean, that's what they got to fix the most. I think they've got the weapons on the offense. I mean, I think they've got enough there to be a winning team, to maybe even be a Super Bowl team on offense. But defense, they're not there. They got to win.
My only thing about that, Tony, is I feel like when you abandon the run like Detroit really did, you're losing the ability to eat the clock, and you're losing the ability to keep Aaron Rodgers and that offense on the sideline. That's the only downside I saw to that.
Well, you're hurting your defense. And
You're
your
right.
defense is your weak thing, and you only had the ball 26 minutes. Pittsburgh's got the ball 34 minutes. Your defense is getting wore out, and your defense is your weak point already. So yeah,
Right.
it doesn't make sense. You think you'd want to run the football. A couple other things real quick, guys. First of all, let's do a Monday Night Football preview. San Francisco at Indy. Chris, how's our Colts going to do tonight, man?
Suck again.
Oh, no. We're going to get a win tonight. We're going to get a win tonight like we should have last week against the Seattle Seahawks. We found a way to lose that game after playing a great game defensively. I think Phillip Rivers will look a little bit better tonight than what he did last week. I didn't think he looked bad. I didn't think he looked terrible last week, but I think he will look better this week with a whole week to get ready. And now he knows a little bit what to expect and how his body's going to react since he has actually played in the game, where last week he didn't know what to expect. Hell, he could have went out there, got hit that first time, and it all been over. So I think he'll be a little bit more comfortable. 49ers are a good team. I'm not saying they're not a good team, but they're also not the same team as they've been over the last couple of years. This is a big game for both teams. Both teams are still trying to get into the playoffs. 49ers are in a little better shape than the Colts. Colts have to win out. I mean, we got to win this game tonight, and we got to beat Houston or Jacksonville and Houston. If we want to get in, that'd been a big game. I thought the Raiders was going to help us out yesterday and give the Texans a loss. Logan, I was rooting for your Raiders hard yesterday, especially when they started to make that comeback.
I'm glad you were.
They got that last touchdown to get with their team. I was going crazy.
Somebody was.
But no, I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be a good game tonight. This is the first time the Colts have been on Monday Night Football for a while, and it's in Indy. The loud house is going to be exploding. It's going to be loud in there. I'm looking for a good competitive game tonight, and I think the Colts are going to come out with I'm going to say a 3-point victory.
Yeah, Chris, I agree with you. I don't think San Francisco's quite as strong as they were at other times the last couple of years. But one thing about them this year, it seems like they find ways to win. I mean, they find ways to win. So that does worry me a little bit. I do think Rivers will play better, but I think this game, it has to be balls to the wall. I think we got to have trick plays. We got to do anything and everything to try to win this game.
We got to get Jonathan Taylor going.
We got to get Taylor going. If we don't get Taylor going, we're going to be in trouble. So we got to find a way to get Taylor going. I don't care if that's running, passing, whatever. I think we got to really go at it. I mean, these next 3 games got to be balls to walls. And if we lose this one, we're out. So you just got to take it a game at a time. I think it'll be a good game. I'm hoping for the best. But we'll see what happens. It's going to be a tough game. Logan, your thoughts?
I think for Indy, like I said, the hell I thought Phillip Rivers would have been in this game when we started the season. Not one of us.
Nope.
Hell, he didn't even think that. So it shows just how unpredictable the NFL can be. If the Colts want to win this one, for defense, I mean pass defense, that's the main one. Pass defense just ain't been there all year for them. In terms of just like they're 31st overall. 12th in scoring on defense, though. So if you can get some turnovers, you have a good chance. Yeah. But that's the problem. You got to get some picks. You got to get some fumbles against Brock Purdy and company. Christian McCaffrey, you have a chance to knock him out. It's injury prone as he's been. If you get a hard hit on him, you can get that. But no, I agree. This should be a battle of running backs. This should be Jonathan Taylor versus Christian McCaffrey, not Brock Purdy versus Phillip Rivers in terms of who should be leading the stats. I'll say the Colts been a good team at home this year, 6-1 overall. Hope to move that to 7-1. I'm kind of leaning towards San Francisco right now, though. I'm kind of leaning towards them. I also have Panero on my team for a kicker, so I hope he can get about 6 of those. Would be good to go. But I think that Indy will be competitive. I think that it's going to be a good matchup, but I'll go with the 49ers in a 1-score game. Getting the win over this. I mean, 2 good teams, but San Francisco just going to give them a slight edge.
Before you go, Jay, I think, Chris, didn't we get Buckner back?
Yes.
Buckner, so we got him back, so that's a plus. I think the thing we got to watch out for real quick, too, is, of course, try to control McCaffrey. Our defensive backs have done a pretty good job on the deep balls lately. So I think we got to protect the middle of the field. I think they're going to try to hit the middle of the field with McCaffrey and their tight ends. So I think we got to protect the middle of the field, and I think we may have a chance. Jay.
Yeah, man. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about these teams. Number one, I thought Phillip Rivers has done a good job coming 5 off the couch. Hadn't played in 5 years. What do you really expect out of him? You know, you're not going to get elite. If you can just get serviceable, then that's really about the best you can expect for a 44-year-old man coming off the couch. And I think that's what you're getting. I think you're getting exactly what and I think your coaching staff knew they were going to get, which is a service, or was hoping they would get, which is a serviceable quarterback. And that's really all you need, is a serviceable quarterback. You guys got real close to taking out Seattle. Kudos to that. There's a lot of implications on tonight's game. A lot of implications. If the Colts lose, which I expect them to, and I hope they will. No, seriously, I really do. Because I don't think you guys belong there right now. You don't have a good quarterback, and to be terrible. So, and nothing against you guys. I don't think Dallas belongs there either. We're hot garbage. So it is what it is. Take what you know from it. At the end of the day, though, there's a lot of teams that are really banking on this, right? Chargers got a lot invested in this. Certainly the Houston Texans have a lot invested in this, because when Colts lose, they're in. And if they win, they're out, or could be close to being out. So there's a lot of implications on whether or not the Colts win or lose. I think a lot of people are wanting the Colts to lose just because of the implications of it. I think you're right, though. Jonathan Taylor, that's your ride or die right now. That's your bread and butter, Tony, and I think you know that, and I think Chris knows that. Because you guys have already said it, and I'm just echoing what you've already said. Eating up the 8 minute the clock, keeping San Francisco's offense off the field. That's your best thing. That's your best defense right there. It's a good run game. And your run game will help your defense. And then unless DeForest Buckner can do a deep pass that Rivers can't do, it is what it is.
Yep.
That's how I say it. But again, care about the Colts. They suck. I'm just.
Hey, I'm fine. One thing, Jay, I will say this: if the Colts lose, I don't say they're going to be my new favorite team, but I will root for you, Houston Texans.
They're not my Houston Texans.
To win it all.
You saying that.
To win it all. I will root for you, Houston Texans, to win the Super Bowl if the Colts can win.
You're not ever gonna let that shit die, are you, Tony?
No,
it's gonna be a running. Okay, I just want to know now, because when I come on this show, I'm gonna start putting my Teflon armor on to defend myself.
You live in Houston. Is there anything wrong?
I do.
Is there anything wrong with you? Dallas is out now, so it's nothing wrong with you to root for Houston now. I'm being serious. I'm being serious now.
I know.
I know they're not your second favorite. I'm just teasing, but there's nothing wrong with you rooting for Houston to win it all.
I mean, look, I'm from Houston, so I don't ever wish anything bad upon anybody that represents my city. I don't. But I also know that I don't ever want to give anybody the idea of that, because then I'll have a crap ton of Frankies in my life, in my DMs. I'll have a crap ton of Gonzos in my DMs. And now, apparently, I'm going to have a bunch of Tonys in my DMs, and I'm never going to have a peaceful night's sleep. Tony, I don't get sleep tonight. I get no sleep, Tony. I go to bed with two nightmares. One of Frankie in his DMs when I hear bing, bing, bing when I'm trying to sleep, or the other one with Gonzo when I come on the show and he gives me an assload of crap. So I live in a permanent state of purgatory. Logan, babyface, I live in purgatory. I do.
Dad, you're right. You're right. Houston's not his second favorite team. They're his favorite team. The Cowboys are his second favorite team.
Let me ask you this, and I'm being serious. And this goes for you too, Logan.
Yeah.
And it's probably going to be going for me and Chris too, maybe after tonight. Our teams could be out of it. Is there a team that you would like to see? Any team in the NFL right now that's going to be eligible? Is there a team I wouldn't mind seeing them win it? Logan.
Well, I hated the Chiefs for the longest, so I'm actually kind of glad that they're on their – hell, they might have to get Matt Ryan from off the bench or someone, because Gardner Minshew tore his ACL yesterday. So that was my number one enemy right there.
Yeah, that cost me some money yesterday. Fucking Minshew.
Oh, man. Former Colt legend also. And Raiders.
Chris, like, hey, Garner, you hurt my bank account, man. What the hell?
Hey, if the Chiefs win that game, I'd have hit a parlay, and I believe the Chiefs would have won that game if Minshew wouldn't have got hurt.
I think I know who Jay may pick, if he picks anybody.
I just want to say one thing. Hey, I just want to do one impression, if I can do one impression. This is Tony when he's door dashing, coming off of a bad parlay where the Chiefs screwed him over and Garner screwed him over. Ladies getting her hamburgers. Hey, thanks, Chris. Appreciate you. fuck off. I'm only out here because I lost a parlay.
It was already bet $10, so it wasn't like I lost.
I know.
I didn't lose a lot of money, but I had a chance.
Hey, Chris, you're ruining my impression. Go with it, guy. You're ruining my impression right now. You should have said it was $100.
I could have won 100, but I would have won $140 off that $10 bet.
Yeah.
But my other three teams won. The Chiefs was the only team that didn't win.
In terms
I
of
told you that
quick,
it's because you wear that U on your hat that says unsuccessful. You is unsuccessful. So stop wearing that. Stop wearing that.
Unsuccessful.
You're unsuccessful, and IU stands for Incomplete University. Let's go.
Do you have an Astros hat that's got an A for asshole? Or?
I sure do. I don't have it on right now.
Listen, that's getting dust right now. You about to dust that one off.
Hey, you should have said, hey, nobody has a problem with being an asshole. You should have said, hey, Jay, the A on your thing stands for abandoned because your team has abandoned you. But that's okay. That's another day for another time.
And Jay, I will say, just saw this one go across the ticker for just some baseball news since it got brought up. The Mets just salary cap dump continues. They got rid of Jeff McNeil, sent him to the Athletics. They still don't have a front name. And for a rookie ball right-handed pitcher. So they offloaded $15 million, getting rid of 33-year-old Jeff McNeil. So, God, the Mets are gonna suck this year.
If the Colts get put
what
out,
are we gonna do? Oh man!
If the Colts get put out, the team I would like to see win it would be the Los Angeles Rams.
Yep.
Rams. I think the Rams would be a good one to watch. Also, I think Jacksonville. I would love to see Jacksonville because they've never even been. So that would be cool. I think.
Yeah, but it's just hard for me to root for Jacksonville because
I understand. Yeah. I understand. Hey, I will say this though.
In the AFC, the team I would pick, they're not going to, but the team I'd like to see if the Colts aren't going to do it would be the Pittsburgh Steelers, just because I am a big Aaron Rodgers fan.
Yeah.
But like I said, I don't think they have a chance. I think they can maybe win a playoff game. I don't think they have a chance to go to the Super Bowl. But if it wouldn't go be the Colts out of the AFC, the Steelers would be a team I'd like to see just because I am a big Aaron Rodgers guy.
None of us picked Patriots. I'm just saying.
I know. I haven't gone yet.
I can't pick the Patriots either because I'm a Colts
fan. Hey, I haven't gone yet. Mine is a tie. It is a tie because I have equal hate for both of these teams. First is Philadelphia because they're a division rival and it's Pags.
Yeah.
So I have a severe hatred to everything Eagles. Secondly, because of how much of an a-hole Frankie is, he has made me hate the Patriots. And I have equal hate for both of those teams. Not one is any stronger than the other. I have equal hate, and I hope both of them go down in a fiery ball of flames. And I will say this, I wouldn't mind seeing Seattle win it. And the only reason I mind seeing Seattle win it is because it's a good city. I like the city. I do like the city of Seattle, and they haven't won anything in a while. And if Houston Texans were to win, I guess I'm gonna really get a lot of hell for this.
Come on,
but I guess I would like to see. I guess ultimately, since my Cowboys aren't in it, I would like to see Houston. I'm gonna go with Houston. And God, this is gonna feed into it. But the only reason I want Houston to win it, right? The only reason I want Houston to win it is just a big FU to Bud Adams and his piece of shit Titans for hijacking the Houston Oilers and taking them to freaking Tennessee. So Bud Adams, F you, and if you're in your grave, I hope they pee on your headstone because you screwed over Houston so bad. You could have did an Art Modell, took your franchise to Tennessee, and left us a damn naming rights. You could have done that, but you're such an asshole. You took that shit with you.
We got to clip that, I feel, right?
Yeah, I agree.
So all I'm going to say is this, that I absolutely would love it. It's a big FU to you, Bud Adams, that Houston gets a Super Bowl before your punk ass does in Tennessee. But I love the people of Tennessee. But I freaking hate you, Bud Adams. I do. I freaking hate you. And I hope that Houston gets it over. I hope you. And Cal McNair, God rest your soul, who is buried. I hope Hal McNair talks to Bud Adams in heaven. Well, Bud Adams might be in hell. I don't know because he's such a douchebag. But I hope he sees you in heaven or hell. But if you go to hell, I hope he packs your back.
Hey, Jay.
Okay, I'm done. Rant over.
Hey Jay, you're just mad that Bud Adams and Tennessee took the best uniforms in football with them.
You know, I did kind of love that love.
But
you know what though? He's such a douchebag. That's how much of a douchebag Bud Adams is. Do y'all remember when Houston Cougars started wearing the Oiler color uniforms?
Yeah.
And then what happened? Hey, you can't do that. You can't wear it. That's our colors. We copyrighted it. Well, fuck you.
All right.
Just a note
I'm
here.
sorry.
Bud
Logan,
Adams died
never
in
cut,
2013.
But that really
so
burns and chaps my hide.
Hey Jay,
Bud
I have
Adams
one
of
request.
90 years died in 2013, October 21st. And Jay, he died in Houston, Texas. So,
Bud Adams did?
Yes, he died
I'm gonna go
12
find
years
his
ago.
grave. I'm gonna find his grave and I'm gonna send you a TikTok
God.
video and I'm gonna pee on it, Logan, and you put that up there.
Oh, wow.
I'm gonna find your Bud Adams. I'm gonna find your grave, pee on it, and we're gonna put it. And we're done. And we're gonna put it on TikTok.
Might go viral.
He lived in River Oaks.
I do have one request. If the Texans,
Yeah, he would live in River Oaks. That's the
Richie
side of
Super
town.
Bowl. If the Texans make the Super Bowl, I need a flight out to your big Super Bowl party you're going to have.
Oh shit!
So I'll be waiting on you to send me the ticket so I come out and celebrate with you.
I'd be okay.
Hey, you know what? I'd do that.
Okay, all right.
I'll be okay with the Rams or the Texans, either one winner. But that's not going to be my pick. I'm going to pick the Chicago Bears.
Okay.
The reason is because I know a bunch of Chicago Bear fans and make them happy. I got brothers who are big Chicago Bear fans, so I'll take the Chicago Bears if Colts don't make it.
I will tell you though, Chris, when I bring you out here, just don't drink anything that looks like lemonade. Just say it looks like lemonade. Just stay away from it.
Real quick to close the show, guys.
Just stay away from it.
Your thoughts on the Jake Paul fight, if you've seen it or seen clips of it. Chris, your thoughts on the Jake Paul fight?
The first 4 rounds of it was the worst joke of boxing I've ever seen in my life.
Takedown.
He just ran from him, and then he would basically drop down and try a shitty ass double leg like he never wrestled before in his life.
Yeah.
But the 6th round was the best round of boxing I've probably ever seen in my life because Jake Paul got his head knocked off. Got his jaw broke 2 spots. It was what we thought it was going to be. It was going to be a spectacle. I'm torn on it because to me it hurts the sport of boxing because it's a joke. But it's also in a way helps the sport of boxing because look how many people watch the damn thing, including me that just said it hurts the sport of boxing. So I think it's a double-edged sword because it does get eyeballs on the sport, but they're not seeing real boxing. They're not seeing top level boxing. Let me put it that way. They saw a guy that's a legit heavyweight fight a legit cruiserweight in a fight that should have never happened. Yeah. I mean, just to be honest,
we don't know
fighting each other.
We don't even know. We really don't know if honestly, he's a cruiserweight. And
this is being 100% serious. Jake Paul's lucky he didn't get seriously injured. Like he's lucky he ain't in the hospital in a coma or something. I'm not trying to be funny. I mean, seriously, you're giving up that big of a physical size advantage to somebody and getting hit like that. Like you could tell the difference when Jake Paul hit Joshua. It was like a mosquito. It was like a mosquito hit, taking a bite out of Joshua.
He just
and when Joshua jabbed Jake Paul, it was like a giant hitting a midget. I mean, it was bad. I mean, it was bad. Like I said, I watched it, and I'll probably watch the next Jake Paul fight. I've watched all of them, but it really was a joke. But hey,
it might be over, Chris. It might be over
as long as people pay for it. They're still going to watch it.
He got paid $120 million, guys. Joshua got $60 million. He got $120 million. So the guy's a real boxer, been a champ before, got $60 million. The guy that's maybe a boxer, we really don't know if he's a boxer or not. Got
the bad thing about that is that's the biggest payday Anthony Joshua's ever had in a boxing fight.
Yep,
by far, way by far.
I also saw.
I've grown up around a lot of people in boxing. A lot of people. Probably one of my favorite ones is Termite Watkins. If you don't know who Termite Watkins is, he's been on the show before. I've had him on the Whiskey Hour, I believe it was, not too long ago. He's back. He is one of my favorite people when it comes to boxing because he knows the sport inside and out. I mean, the guy should have been in the Olympics, but they wound up boycotting the year that he qualified to go to the Olympics. So he didn't get to go to the Olympics. But pound for pound, he's one of the best boxers out there. And he would have actually fought in Roberto Duran, but they couldn't get the money right. That was going to be at the Summit back when the Rockets played at the Summit, but Roberto Duran couldn't get the money right, so that fight never took place. But here's my thing: I really believe that Jake Paul is the worst thing for boxing, and again, it's the best thing for boxing if you look at it from a money aspect. From a money aspect, he probably is the best thing for boxing, but there's a problem when you got a guy who makes his living on boxing and gets paid less than a guy who is a YouTuber that wants to come play boxer. That's a problem for me. That's a real big problem for me. That's integrity. It's integrity. It's an integrity issue. The sport of boxing has lost its integrity. I don't think boxing has been an integral sport in a hot minute. And I think the fact that they've allowed Jake Paul to do what Jake Paul's doing and they settled for the money over the integrity of the sport, that's a problem for me. And y'all might feel differently, but for me, it's an integrity issue. And I'm glad he got what he got because he needs to know what a real boxer is, not this Floyd Mayweather showboating to give the people a thing. And let me be honest, let me be very clear about this. And I think we all know that Mike Tyson, what Mike Tyson has done, the fact that Mike Tyson could take a guy out of a ring in 1 minute of a first round, and he's going to sit there and pussyfoot with a guy like Jake Paul. You don't think for one damn minute that if Tyson went in there as a serious-minded boxer and they let Mike Tyson do what Mike Tyson does, you don't think Mike Tyson would have done the same damn thing to Jake Paul? You don't think so? Come on. The problem is Joshua took this fight seriously, and Joshua gave him exactly what Tyson should have gave him, but he didn't.
I don't know if Tyson could have done it, Jay. I don't think Tyson has it in him anymore.
You don't think he has it?
I don't.
Do you think it's a mental thing for Tyson or a physical?
I don't think he's a killer anymore.
Yeah, he used to be a killer.
He was a killer.
His wife really screwed him up way back in the day, and then obviously Lou Duva. I mean, a lot of that really took it out of him.
Yeah, I just don't think he's a killer anymore, and he's also gotten older. I mean, he's
not young,
years old, whatever. But I think that was a big part of it there.
Hey, don't say that stuff, Logan, because you know why? Foreman came back at 60 and knocked old boy out and got the title. So that can still happen.
My only problem is I don't blame Paul. I mean,
no,
if you can make money, you make money. I'm not blaming him.
Oh yeah, I don't blame him. I don't blame Paul for trying to get the payday.
The only thing I would like to see Paul, if he really wants to be a boxer, let's take some cruiserweight fights because he is a cruiserweight, and let's see if you really can fight. Yeah, you're not going to get paid millions of dollars. You're going to get paid maybe 100,000 if you're lucky. But see if you can fight a top 10 fighter. Maybe start off with a top 20 fighter. See if you can really compete against real cruiser, and then I have respect for him.
I don't think that's going to happen. It ain't going. I don't see it happening. And let me say this: he started off as an internet personality and an actor when he was a teenager. I mean, he was a wrestler in high school. We know both brothers were. Both him and Logan were. And from my understanding, they were pretty solid back in high school.
Both of them were real good wrestlers.
Right.
Out of Ohio.
Yeah. And so they, like I said, we know that they are athletic, that they have, some good genes in them. We know Logan's doing his thing right now in the WWE, doing a good job at it.
Yep.
And for Jake, and I think Logan's the same way, they're trying to stack as much cash as they can get. And hey, go for it. I'm not discouraging you for it.
Yeah.
But I don't think if you're Jake Paul, if you're in his mindset, I mean, I don't know if you're done milking that cash cow, because I'm sure there's some other guys out there who want a payday like that, because he's still a very big name right now. It ain't gonna last forever, because not everything does. But I don't think he's gonna take it serious. I don't think he's gonna drop down and to go cruiserweight, fight whoever it may be, fight the young guys that not a lot of people who don't, out on the outside world know. I mean, hell, everyone knows Mike Tyson. You know what I mean? Everyone knows these, a lot more people know Anthony Joshua now. They just saw that, and they respect the hell out of him for it. But I don't see him dropping down to, I'm not saying lesser competition, but to lesser known names in the world, just for the sake of integrity. I don't see him doing that. I mean, I'm honestly, it wouldn't surprise me if he just stopped, if he just gave it up and went, hell, go to wrestling.
I think he's going to fight Conor McGregor next.
Talk about another
let me ask you guys this question, because this is what I read about this.
Match. I really do, because I beat big bucks.
Oh yeah.
Let me ask you guys this. I saw where because of the severity of the breaks in his jaw and things like that happened, then the plates and things like that they had to put basically his jaw back together. The doctors, correct me if I'm wrong, the doctors have advised Jake Paul not to fight again.
I've heard that.
They told him not to fight
sure.
again. Now that's what I wrote in the article, that his doctors told him, hey, you shouldn't be fighting again. But obviously the money, I guess, is very enticing. So I could see him trying to do it again.
He tweeted out he wanted to fight Canelo in 10 days. So I mean, we're
Canelo
about
in
7
10
days
days
away from that. We'll see.
Yeah.
Canelo will send him to a
Well,
great
there's also a large group of people that think that the reason that fight went how it did, that Anthony Joshua went against the script, that the first 4 rounds he was playing along with the script, and then he said fuck it, and that's when he went out there and knocked him out. So there's a lot of people think that Joshua went against what he was supposed to. I don't, because then if there was something like that, he wouldn't have got his money. There'd have been something in that contract saying, if it was fixed like that, there would have been something in that contract saying that hey, if you don't follow the script, you don't get.
I'm sure it's all going to come out eventually. You know what I mean? If there is any kind of collusion, and like I said, we're not going to imply that, but who knows? But yeah, hey, I will say this: you saw him and you saw Andrew Tate get their ass kicked this weekend. So it was a good week. It was a good week seeing both guys who were hated online getting.
I saw Anderson Silva want to fight. He want to fight.
He beat Tyron Woodley.
Yeah, Woodley.
I don't know if you saw it, Chris, but
only fight I watched was the last one. I was watching the Alabama Oklahoma football game.
And I would say it was I just saw the knockout, but it was super. It was and we know Anderson Silva is one of the smartest just fighters, period. He feigned a leg kick because they're both MMA fighters. Woodley, he just on instinct, he covered up a little bit, left his jaw open and uppercut. So just hey, that's thinking with your noodle right there. Thinking with the head. I think Silva's like 50, and good win for him.
Yeah. Well, hey guys, let's get out of here for today. Hope everybody enjoyed the show, and we'll see everybody tomorrow.
All right, I'll take it.